slash at all. Some would say I'm the reverse.
Hello everybody, some would say I'm the reverse, and welcome to my review for Batwoman Season 1 Episode 18, titled, If You Believe in Me, I'll Believe in You. So let's get right into this review for the episode. With my general thoughts, I really like this episode, despite the terrible title of the episode. I think it's a really bad title for an episode. It's very long, but the episode itself was really good. And it revolved around everyone trying to get Lucius Fox's journal because it has secrets to win enterprises, and stuff like that. And I thought it was just a really cool sort of MacGuffin storyline. I don't know if I guess you could call it a MacGuffin storyline. It's just everybody was going for it, and I thought that was really cool. And there were some plot twists in here that I really do appreciate, and um, I thought that they were really cool. But let's get into it. So the episode starts off with Batwoman fighting these criminals that are human trafficking, I guess you could say, and it was a decent starting scene. There was some there's a definitely a leap in quality in terms of the fight choreography and stuff, and that's because James Bamford is was working on this episode. He's from Arrow, if you don't know who he is. Um, so there was definitely a leap in fight choreography, the quality of it and stuff. It wasn't like Arrow levels, but you could definitely tell from the camera work and stuff that it felt like an Arrow fight scene. Maybe not one of the strongest ones, but it had that sort of feeling, and I did appreciate that about this opening fight scene. But but yeah, like I said earlier, the uh, the episode is basically the hunt for Lucius Fox's journal. That's really what it's about, and we get to see multiple different storylines going on that all revolve around this plot. We see Batwoman and Julia and Mary and Luke going for it. We get to see Alice and Mouse and Magpie and what's his name, Tommy, who also is basically turned into Hush this episode, which is amazing. It was awesome to see that. And also Regan. I don't know how to say her name, but she also factors into that plot line with Alice. Excuse me, which was one of the plot twists this episode. I did not see that coming at all, and I'll talk about that later. But But yeah, let's talk about Kate and Mary since that was a big part of this episode. Obviously, last episode, Mary revealed to Kate that she knows Kate is Batwoman. I know that's confusing sentence to say, but um, but yeah, Kate now knows Mary knows that Kate is Batwoman. That makes sense, and now Mary wants to be on the Bat team, is what she calls it, and but Kate doesn't let her. She is reluctant to put her in danger, and at the end, she says that it's because she's already lost a sister. She doesn't want to lose Mary, which is a good explanation. But yeah, um, but let's talk more about this plotline with Kate and Mary and Luke and Julia. Kate and Julia, they go into this club where the journal is supposed to be, because they listen in on a call between him and Tommy. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about the Tommy plot, since that kind of sets up the Kate plot, I guess. If that makes sense. If you've seen the episode, it makes sense. Um, so Alice and Mouse are trying to get the journal, and they use Tommy Elliot for it because obviously Tommy Elliot has connections. He's the one that put the hit on Lucius Fox. He's trying to get that journal, and so they try to team up with him, and well, Mouse reveals himself. He obviously looked like the doctor after he took his face and stuff. He reveals himself to Tommy, and they offer Tommy freedom for this journal. And he says, "How am I going to escape?" when my face is on all the wanted posters, and they offer him a new face. Obviously, this is set up for Hush. So they cut his face off, they give it to another inmate, they hang that inmate, they hang him to death, and they frame or they fake Tommy's death in Arkham in the cell. So now that Tommy is dead, he escapes Arkham and he doesn't have a face. So they wrap him up, and Alice says that she's gonna give him a face. She's gonna give him his new face when he gets her the journal. So he calls up this guy who he had hide the journal. This guy owns a club. He's a club owner, and the guy opens the safe, and he's actually sets a trap for Batwoman, because Batwoman listens in on that call between the club owner and Tommy. She goes to this club with Julia, and just scouting out and stuff, and then Julia, looks at the cameras, and then she turns off the lights, and then Kate puts on her Batwoman disguise and goes in there, tries to get the journal. This was a really stupid scene in my opinion. Probably the worst part of this episode, when Kate just picked up the book even though Luke said it was a trap. He literally warned her that it was a trap. It was so obviously a trap, and she still picked it up. It was literally sitting on the desk. It's so obviously a trap. That was really stupid in my opinion. But it's just a nitpick. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's just one scene, and they felt the need to find a way to capture for Batwoman to be captured, and that's how they did it. So it doesn't really matter. But it was still annoying, and it was very stupid of Kate to not realize it was a trap, or just like she knew it was a trap and just still did it anyways. I don't know. But yeah, they captured Batwoman. And Mary goes in now. Now, obviously, earlier in the episode, Kate advised against Mary being involved because she didn't want Mary to get hurt, and because this was all dangerous and stuff. But Mary ended up getting involved, and she ended up saving Kate. So the club owner guy was bidding off. He was auctioning off Batwoman and all of her gadgets and stuff. And Mary comes in and offers 10 million for Batwoman. And then Luke kind of blows up all the money in there, causes a distraction, and Mary frees Batwoman. And then Batwoman and Julia kick some ass, and they escape. So that's basically the end of that storyline. But they still don't have the journal yet. Actually, wait. Yeah, they do. Never mind. I'm getting ahead of myself. Kate does have the journal. She puts it in her backpack, and then at the end of the episode, Reagan, who, if you remember, was in episode 3 or 4, I believe. Yeah, I believe it was 4. She was in episode 4, and her and Batwoman, or her and Kate, were, they were dating for a little bit, and they end up getting together again in this episode. And then in the morning, Kate wakes up and the journal's gone. Reagan took it, and turns out Reagan is Magpie's sister, or at least the Magpie called her sister or something. I'm really not sure, but Magpie was released by Alice as a contingency plan because she knew that the club owner would not give the journal back to Tommy. So she let Magpie out and told Magpie to steal it, and then Magpie got Reagan to do it, and yeah, it turns out Reagan is Magpie's sister, and Reagan got the journal to Magpie, which got it to Alice. So now Alice and Tommy and Mouse have the journal, and yeah, that was a really cool plot twist. The fact that Reagan was involved with all this, I did not see that coming at all. Also, at the end of the episode, when Julia and Sophie are talking, Julia gets a call from somebody, I don't know who, but she is working with somebody to get this journal from Alice, or I don't know who she's working with. I don't know if she's working with Alice. Um, I don't know. No, she couldn't be working with Alice because Alice has the journal. Maybe she's working with Sophia, that background character that we don't know anything about except for her ties with Alice. I'm not sure. But yeah, so Julia is working with somebody, and Reagan is working with Magpie. Well, she's not anymore, but she was. So a lot of plot twists in this episode. All the blonde girls are betraying everybody. So yeah, I don't know. That's really all I have to say about this episode. There's a little bit of a love triangle going on between Kate and Julia and Sophie. Not a fan of it. Um, I don't really like that side of these shows. This love triangle, jealousy. Just the drama of it. I'm not really a fan of all that. Obviously, they gotta have connections. All these characters have to be connected, so there's actually like stakes in in the show. But I just really do not like these love triangle storylines. The only one that I kind of enjoyed ever was Barry, Iris, and Eddie, and that's just because I liked all three of those characters when that triangle was going on. I don't like any three. I dislike all three of the characters in this love triangle. I don't necessarily dislike Kate, um, but I don't like her either. And you know, Julia is not very interesting, and Sophie also not very interesting. So yeah, I do not like this love triangle aspect of the episode, and most likely going forward. But also, there was this terrible, 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 terrible scene in this episode. Probably the most cringy scene from Batwoman. The cringiest scene from Batwoman ever. And that is right before Kate and Julia go to the club. Kate is, I don't even know. She's like dancing kind of to Luke, and she says, "We're going clubbing." Yeah. Oh, it's. I'm not even gonna talk about it. That just. Ugh. I get nauseous when I think about it. No, but yeah, the episode was pretty good. I'd probably give it like 8.6 out of 10, 8.7. With time, this episode could maybe get higher in the score. Uh, in the, like my score could get higher, simply because I really liked the plot line of this episode. I loved the birth of Hush. I guess Hush was born. He's not named Hush, and he doesn't really have his gimmick yet, where he steals faces and stuff. But he doesn't. His face got taken off, cut off, and he's bandaged up. He's obviously Hush. So yeah, but yeah, tell me in the comments what you thought. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for my Supergirl review. On Tuesday, we have Flash and Legends. I got my Clone Wars review whenever I have time to get that out. And I might do a retrospective video on the Clone Wars, on what it's meant to me, since it's been 12 years since it came out, and I've watched it since the very first episode. I've been a Star Wars fan since I was 3 years old, and the Clone Wars started when I was 4, so I barely remember watching it when it started. But I've been a huge fan of it for, well, obviously since it came out, and it ended, and yeah, I'll tell you guys my thoughts about this last arc and the ending of the show and stuff, and I'll get a review, or I'll get a ranking out of this season's episodes and all of the seasons. Um, and then I might do some tier lists about it. I'm not sure. But yeah, tell me in the comments what you thought about this review. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. See ya.